As banks look to the next year, they're going to be faced with the challenge of either controlling expenses or looking for growth opportunities. And I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive. If we think about growth opportunities, the first and foremost that I would advise them to look at is, what is it they're already good at? Is it a specific niche? Is it a specific type of customer? Is it a specific region? And how can we get more out of that? A lot of times organizations think they have to be everything to everyone. That's not always going to solve the problem. All that's going to do is dilute your offering. The second area that I would think about in terms of real growth opportunities is looking at the niche markets in terms of customer bases. We've seen a lot of success in organizations saying, hey, we've got a high concentration of musicians and artists and performing arts. We've done really well. We happen to be based in Nashville, but where else could we take that service? Is Austin a potential for us? Is Hollywood a potential? How does that niche? And that's just an example, but there's lots of opportunities for that. And if we think about younger customers, born with iPhones in their pockets or Androids or whatever, but always having connections, things like same-day ordering, able to place an order for a television, for example, and then going into an app and having a service company come and do an installation same day. That's their expectation. We may not be able to do a mortgage as quickly as that, but how quickly is our technology aligned to that expectation to give that same feedback to those younger customers? And if it's too broad, if that gap is too big, probably need to think about, is the technology we've invested in the right technology? Do we need to make a change? Do we need to partner with a fintech, or do we need to look at an alternative product? And chances are there's something out there that helps to narrow that gap quickly. A lot of our younger buyers have expectations that it's not just a good or service that they're consuming. They want to make sure it's from an organization that's aligned with them in the things they care about. So whether it's the community, social causes, those types of things. So making sure that you show up in those ways of the type of customers you're trying to attract is really important. As those customers begin to engage with you, more than likely, they're going to start in a digital way, and they're going to get so far along that process. And ultimately, they may run into a roadblock, and they may have to then engage physically. How clean and how organic is that pivot? If it's very natural going from this digital process and all of a sudden I've got to get a universal banker or a lender engaged, are they able to pick up the baton, so to speak, without waiting or dropping and fumbling? Or do they have to go back a few paces in order to really get in line? That consumer, that younger consumer, is going to feel that, and it will feel off-putting, and they're not going to want to engage in that transaction any further. So really making sure that digital and physical interaction is very seamless, I think, is key. The greatest potential return on investment, I think everyone automatically would think AI. And while there's truth to that, as we're seeing these investments, multi-billion-dollar investments being made in AI, they all rely on data. Banks, community banks especially, have some of the best data available that's untapped. Data is being called the next great resource, natural resource, and banks are in a better position than any of them to take advantage of that, because they not only have access to their transactional data, they have access to all of their customers' transactional data and who it is their customers are doing business with. If they start thinking about how to really focus on governance of that, cleanliness of that, and actionability around that, that not only gets returns right away on the data side of it, but it sets the stage for successful AI once those use cases start to get maybe figured out a little bit more cleanly. Then they have a little fuzzy right now, some of the AI uses, but that's going to become very crystal clear as the AI models advance. But if we don't have clean data to work with, we won't have clean results.